For years now, the whole science world has been thrown into a debate on the possibility of an occupation of Mars, while Elon Musk has done nothing but reaffirm his commitment to its possibility, ceaselessly stating his desire to colonize the Red Planet. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the plans of the SpaceX founder to colonize Mars. So before we begin, take your time to like and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more premium content. Now, let's begin. With the belief that NASA wasn't doing more to get people to Mars, and the fact that Earth might eventually become an uninhabitable wasteland, Elon Musk founded SpaceX, the rocket company making waves today. In case you don't notice, Mars is one of the closest habitable planets to Earth. Although it is some 140 million miles away, it still endures a decent sunlight and cold, which humans can warm up, by the way. Easily by compressing the Mars atmosphere, humans can grow plants, and mind you, the atmosphere is primarily CO2 coupled with some nitrogen and argon, and others. While the date is separated with a 24-hour limit on Earth, Mars is about 24 hours and 37 minutes. And, as a matter of fact, the gravity is about 38% of what it is on Earth. Facts have proven that humans can easily adapt and survive on Mars, but Elon Musk mentioned in an interview that the first humans there would in fact die, but only after they have successfully satisfied their Mars exploration and lived out their life. Apart from the fact that the journey to Mars will take around 6 months, it will take an amount of around 1,000 spaceships and 1 million tons of vitamin C to make life on Mars verifiable. Elon Musk believes that life on Mars can only be achievable if there is a self-sustaining city there. One thing that has been a major obstacle to the Mars occupation is the ships and their need to resupply. For the time being, the issue of ships coming down to Earth from Mars after landing there is one that has been on the tables for long, even with NASA confirming that their supplies for the planet will not be for tourist travels, but for the continuation of life there. Overtly, the sustainability of life on Mars depends on how much is needed for colonization. Judging from the fact that the planet is slightly different from our Earth, those that find themselves on Mars might experience a little bit of difficulty, especially without enough supplies to last them for their intended time there. Interestingly, SpaceX hopes to send up a Starship on the back of the Super Heavy booster, which Musk commonly refers to as the Big Effin' Rocket, or BFR. Carrying nearly 13 tons into space, SpaceX claims ownership to the most powerful rocket booster in the world, the Falcon Heavy, hence the need for the BFR, which will be able to carry about a few hundred tons to space, before the eventual 1,000 tons. As a matter of fact, the BFR is planned to be 25 stories high, with about 42 powerful Raptor engines, which can lift an entire Boeing 747. In his plans to colonize the Red Planet, Elon Musk outlined that the BFR will push Starship into space and that it will connect to a similar booster already put in place to provide support throughout the journey to Mars. The Starship transportation system to Mars is to ensure each launch of SpaceX's reusable Starship rockets, about 3 times per day on average, while carrying a 100-ton payload on each flight. With more of about 1,000 flights per year, carrying more than about 100 tons of cargo on each flight. A total of 100,000 tons of cargo will be in orbit, ready for delivery on Mars. 1,000 Starships could send around 100,000 people every 26 months from Earth to Mars, because at that time, the orbits are best aligned for interplanetary travel. As a matter of interest, Earth and Mars align, get close to each other, only once in a space of 2 years, which creates the window for quick passage. While most of the fuel will be consumed by each ship flying into orbit around Earth, several other tanker spaceships could launch and refill the carriers with more fuel to reach the destination Mars. As the SpaceX employees are working hard to build the Starship system, the landing on Mars could be later in 2022 or 2023. Clearly, Elon Musk stated that the human invasion of Mars will not happen anytime soon. However, he mentioned that compared to Earth, there will be lots of jobs, including direct democracy where inhabitants will make decisions for themselves with fewer and much more lesser complicated laws compared to Earth. As regards to food, it will be grown on solar-powered hydroponic farms located underground or in an enclosed structure. As regards to the landing zone of the Starship, studies have revealed that it will be near subsurface water and ice deposits. This position is said to be located strategically to receive enough sunlight for the array of solar panels to power the colony. The refueling of the spaceships will only be done easily enough with the resources found on the planet. The SpaceX ships use liquid methane and liquid oxygen as fuel, and it can easily be recreated on Mars using the Sabatier process. In case you don't know, this type of fuel makes it easy to reuse rocket boosters for an amount of time, because it burns cleanly. The process makes use of nickel as the agent to synthesize methane from atmospheric carbon dioxide, and it can easily be extracted from the water ice located on Mars. To generate a useful amount of fuel on Mars, it will roughly take 26 months, and by the calculation of SpaceX engineers, the necessary power to make the Sabatier work will need about 56,600 square meters of ground based on solar panels, which can be simply moved to Mars in a single Starship. At this point, I'm not sure if you're aware of Elon Musk's Boring Company on Earth hoping to tackle the issue of transportation. We believe that the Boring Company will not be left out of this colonization, as it will first need to dig the Mars surface to access the subsurface water. Furthermore, to safely keep the human colonies from the harsh ionizing radiation, initial settlements might need to be organized in deep subsurface artificial encampments. How do you think connection with the colonists on Mars will be maintained? Let us know your answers in the comment section. With the Starlink satellite supposedly opening communication paths between both planets, it shouldn't come as a surprise to know that Elon Musk might also make use of autonomous vehicles, either cars or trucks, to carry out distant and difficult missions for the colonists. Although it has not been explicitly expressed, the vehicles might even be used to move products for refueling on the surface of Mars. For a fact, we do know that Musk really wants the first starships to be filled with machines and cargo necessary for proximate future missions. These equipment are such that are needed for humans to build enough sustainable facilities to generate power, tweak the Martian air, gather water, and transform the raw resources into oxygen and methane fuel for safe return launches to Earth. The first two uncrewed starships will confirm the water resources on the planet and locations that pique interests. They will also determine the possible effects of future hazards, what the hazards might be, and set up necessary infrastructure for further explorations, including perhaps a launching pad for subsequent crewed spaceships. Let us assume the first reconnaissance launches are successful. SpaceX could go ahead to send manned starships to Mars. The first starships, however, will serve as residences for astronauts for further evaluations, and it might even reduce the complexity of the mission by removing the need to immediately build habitats on the planet. Elon Musk also touted that a Mars base could be completed by 2028, and a lot of life support experts have expressed their doubts basically for the fact that they do not believe that the necessary technologies for life will be ready, not to even mention a permanent city for colonization. But we all know Elon Musk, and he has a flair for achieving the slightly unthinkable. And for the Red Planet, he aims to make a backup for humans after life on Earth becomes unbearable. To transform Mars into a similar world as Earth, Elon Musk once talked about nuking Mars. However, the images on SpaceX's website of a rusty red planet morphing into an Earth-like world suggest a hypothetical process of terraforming. While this type of climate change is deliberate, it suggests that Mars could be morphed into a wet and warm world, far better suited for ceaseless human colonization, only if the carbon dioxide-rich ice caps on Mars are easily melted. NASA, however, does not believe in the possibility of lasting terraforming, as there may not be enough trapped gases to sustain a comfortable planetary atmosphere. Compared to Earth, Mars has less than 1% of atmospheric density, which makes it synonymous to a vacuum cleaner. Currently, SpaceX is building its first set of Starship orbital vehicles, and are conducting tests in a South Texas facility, very much close to Earth's core. From this facility in Boca Chica, Texas, it launched many test flights of Starship prototypes and is preparing for many more tests to come in the near future. The colonization of Mars will most likely take years, but it will surely be worth the wait in the end. Everyone is aware of the potential for electric vehicles, as these can help save the world on fuel as well as money. Tesla has been the biggest inspiration for every automobile company, and most of them have already built their own electric cars, and are steadily moving towards manufacturing autonomous vehicles. One such company is NIO, founded by celebrity entrepreneur William Li, that is working on something inspired by the same concept of Tesla electric cars, but a bit on the cheaper end. Today we're going to be talking about the story of William Li. Make sure you stay until the end so you don't miss out on the exciting journey of the founder of the Chinese Tesla. Li Bin, William Li, is the founder of the electric vehicle startup NIO. NIO is already a major player in the car industry and is expected to become even more influential thanks to his smart strategy. Li Bin is often known in China as the godfather of the car industry. Born in 1974 and graduated from Peking University, he founded BitAuto in 2000. BitAuto is a provider of internet content and marketing services for China's automotive industry. It's listed on the American Stock Exchange and is valued at over $1 billion. It now employs more than 3,000 people and covers 340 cities in China. He's also the founder, chairman, and CEO of NIO, founded in 2014, and is often called the Chinese Tesla. Early life. Li Bin was born in 1974 in the Chinese province of Anhui. His family was relatively poor. His parents started saving for his college education when he was 7. In his school years, he worked part-time to earn a living for his family. He graduated from the Department of Sociology at Peking University and also studied law and computer science. This knowledge laid the foundation for his future success. From the perspective of Li Bin's growth trajectory, he is a very social person. When he was young, he lived with his grandfather and grandmother in Wuling village. His daily task was to count money and keep accounts for his grandpa, who sold cows. He learned what business is like quite early. His motto was, either make short-term money or make future money. A good business is to make money today and make money tomorrow. Tomorrow will make you more money than today, and you can use the least money to make the most money. How to achieve this? Young Li Bin hadn't thought about it hard at the time, but he knew that he would definitely not spend his entire life in a small village herding cattle and keeping accounts. But first, move away and explore at the outside world. So, he was admitted to the sociology department at Peking University and became the deputy monitor as soon as he enrolled. To be an official, he tried his best to take everyone to climb the Great Wall, watch the flag raising, and do collective labor. He abruptly suffered from an illness, and as a result, he spent more than a month in the hospital and only found out about it when he was discharged. This incident enlightened Li Bin that in order to maintain his position, he must have some additional education except for the master's degree. Although he lost his official position at the time, he couldn't be idle, so he started learning law and computer science, and after taking 17 exams in a week, he finally became the only system analyst among liberal arts students at Peking University. Career path. At the end of April 2014, he joined the ride-sharing service platform Dida Chuxing as its chairman. He was also a major investor in the bike-sharing platform Mobike, and has invested in more than 40 companies in the automobile industry. With such a CV, it's understandable that he's got an excellent reputation in the industry. He became an entrepreneur in 1996 and has witnessed the growth of internet in China almost since the beginning. In 2010, he was inspired by Lei Jun, founder of Xiaomi, who was trying to transform an internet company into a hardware company. Emulating the same, he wished to replicate Xiaomi's business model with cars. But a car's not a phone, and it's much more difficult to produce. Mistakes are unaffordable during car production. If a Xiaomi phone has a system bug, it's relatively easy to fix. But if anything goes wrong during the production of cars, people's safety can be compromised. That is why Li Bin said that he would need at least $3 billion to produce a car. Although NIO has not started mass production of its cars yet, it has managed to raise approximately $160 billion. According to the Chinese portal 36KE, NIO is planning an IPO later this year. It's not clear whether the IPO will be successful, considering that NIO has not yet started mass production and is not yet profitable. NIO's first mass-produced model will be the ES8, with an estimated price of $70,000, and it could become a serious competitor for Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and other big brands. Li Bin knows that it is difficult to compete against such powerful companies. He'll have to spend a lot of money to attract the best engineers and create a reliable brand. Also, there's some risk involved. After all, internet companies are not that experienced when it comes to car manufacturing. NIO should be prepared for some product recall crisis in the future. Lei Jun's was the first door Li Bin knocked on when he was trying to raise money. In 2014, Xiaomi was at its apex and Lei Jun had already met with many car manufacturers. Li Bin wanted to convince him to invest in NIO and hopefully make him give up the idea of developing his own car brand. He hoped to transform Lei Jun into an ally rather than a potential competitor. Li Bin also convinced Li Zhang, founder of the Chinese electric vehicle startup CHJ Automotive, to invest in NIO. Like many other Chinese entrepreneurs, Li Bin also turned to BAT, Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent for funding. But he was cautious as he was not willing to take too much money from them. He wanted Neo to be independent of BAT. At the end, he was able to raise money from Ma Huateng, Tencent, Liu Quandong, JD, Hill House Capital Group, Li Zhang, and Lei Jun. Neo. Now Neo has 56 investors, including Lenovo, TPG, China Merchants Bank, China Industrial Bank, and many other big names. One of Li Bin's best skills is his ability to take money from investors in a prudent fashion. He's managed to remain in control of the company and has not allowed any investor to become too powerful. Not only that, he's made them feel allies. For many years, he's surrounded himself with the same powerful investors and has carefully built a good reputation. His wife said to 36KE that Li Bin is really good at turning enemies into friends. He never blacklists anyone. He's always willing to sit down and talk to anyone, she said. Li Bin also started designing Neo's future after covering as a reporter for Bit Auto, the Frankfurt and London car shows. He has had the chance to interview high-profile people within the industry. Little did they know that the reporter interviewing them was the founder of a company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. In the early days of Neo, Lei Jun warned Li Bin about the difficulties in gathering a good team. Li Bin traveled to 17 different countries and interviewed hundreds of people for different jobs. He established research development centers in the UK, Germany, and the US. Today, the team has 5,500 people from 40 different countries, creating a globalized company. To overcome language barriers, he set up a simultaneous interpretation system similar to the one used at the UN, at Neo's Shanghai headquarters. Although the team has been successful and the company has grown rapidly, some people within the industry still have doubts about Neo. After all, Neo has had to start a car company from scratch. Neo teamed up with JAC Motors, which will be Neo's main manufacturer, provider of aluminium and world-class components. But manufacturing a car is more than putting together top-notch pieces and components. JAC Motors does not have experience when it comes to manufacturing a whole car, but we should not underestimate the complexity of the auto supply chain management. But then, Tesla has also faced a similar problem in the past. According to people who've worked with him, Li Bin is extremely hardworking. He's constantly traveling between Shanghai and Beijing, and during his business trips there is almost no resting time. His family has to force him to take vacations. Li Bin is a man willing to take risks. Against the advice of his engineers, he insisted that the ES8 model had to reach 100 km per hour in 4 seconds, equivalent to a Ferrari. For Li Bin, high performance is the essence of Neo. Because the battery system still has some weak points at this stage, Li Bin thinks Neo should excel in whatever it can excel in now. With enough investment, the S8 model can reach 100 km per hour in 4 seconds. It does not matter that the average driver will never experience this feature. Tesla achieved 100 km per hour in 4 seconds, so Neo must do it too. Another one of Li Bin's gambles is Neo's approach to swappable batteries. He thinks this improves user experience, but Tesla had also considered this and finally gave up on it. Renault's CEO declared that swappable batteries are a dead end. In the swappable battery model, the driver replaces his car's battery with a fully charged one. This significantly raises costs. An Israeli company called Better Price was a pioneer in this field, but it went bankrupt in 2013. Li Bin interviewed one of the company's investors, who said that the reason for their failure was that technology was not rooted in user experience. Li Bin declared to 36KE that he does not seek validation from material things. He doesn't own a house, he rents a house around Guamo, Beijing's CBD. Friends say that he does not care about a bottle of wine or if it costs $60 or $600. He's not known to have any hobbies, and even if he did, he wouldn't have time for them. He hopes to always keep an entrepreneurial mindset. He now rates Neo's likelihood of success at 51%. In 2020, Neo had exhibited steady growth, even despite the quarantine and the coronavirus. The increase in deliveries in April 2020 amounted to 105.8% compared to March and 180.7% compared to April 2019. A total of 2,907 5-seat ES6s and 248 7- and 6-seat ES8s were delivered. The growth in sales of premium ES8s is a positive signal, with more than 180 more units sold in April than a year earlier. Total EV shipments throughout Neo's history reached 38,906, with 6,993 delivered in 2020. Li Bin is a man who does great things. Whether he's a former competitor or a current one, he has the ability to turn enemies into friends. A rare person can persuade others to invest in rivals' projects, but Li Bin has this unique ability. He can unite many people with capital and resources by his side and form stronger. We all know the name Elon Musk, and I'm quite sure that at the slightest mention of the name, our minds dart to the challenging promises of an advanced society. While Elon Musk has successfully plastered himself as a pivot for technological advances, he remarkably has not relented in his extraordinary quest to make automation easy for everyone. Over the years, his Tesla company has already produced fleets of automated vehicles, and recently, he announced that he would do something about the issue of road traffic. But be sure to stay until the end of the video, because you don't want to miss out on any of the juicy details. Now, let's begin. I might as well say that we've all heard about self-driving cars. Until this day, a number of people believe the idea is merely a reverie to get lost in, for the fact that they have misunderstood the difficulty involved in engineering effective intelligent machines as well as searching large datasets. As a matter of fact, we all know driving isn't cheap, and it could demand an unusual amount of time for our reflexes to familiarize all related with driving. With more than 1 million traffic-related deaths globally, more people find it arduous to deal with the hazards of automobiles, including road rage, drunks, pedestrians, wild animals, and traffic jams. They all amount to daily appalling scenarios for everyone, drivers and victims alike. We all know how terrible traffic jams can be and how much time it chops off of our daily schedule, leaving us stranded with more work than required, and nobody is left out of this road traffic issue, except if you go about in a helicopter, of course. Having suffered this road rage issue, Elon Musk on his Twitter page announced that he would create a boring company to dig tunnels to tackle the traffic issue. As we rightly know, Elon Musk does whatever he wants, judging from the fact that his SpaceX company is currently revolutionizing the rocket business, and a lot of us might find ourselves on Mars soon. Musk believes that building more tunnels will be a simple and obvious way to address transportation gridlock, as they will massively alleviate congestion, as they are just holes in the ground. Consider it more of a passageway. Now, what do you know about the market of this boring company? Interestingly, Elon Musk's boring company is actually a boring company. They just excavate tunnels daily. But we all know that this is just the surface duty of the company, considering the fact that Tesla simply appears to be nothing more than an energy tech company focused on making cars, batteries, and solar. As you rightly know, that can change in the long term. Therefore, it's important to know that excavating tunnels isn't really the only service that the company will offer in the future. Apparently, Tesla and the Boring Company are on two extremely different planes, but it shouldn't be surprising to know that these two companies will soon work on common ground. In the long term, it is highly probable that these two companies will capture their business models in an almost identical format. Looking at the long-term plans of the Boring Company, I should first state that they are currently digging tunnels in Las Vegas and are planning to go into other geographies too. At the moment, the Boring Company seeks to submerge traffic in three-dimensional spaces underground in areas where two-dimensional roads and surface streets are too congested. As a fact, these tunnels are narrow, such that only autonomous vehicles could drive through at high speeds. According to the Tesla millionaire, the Boring Company's goal is to promote tunneling speed enough that establishing a tunnel network becomes financially reasonable. Going 3D down for tunnels of about 10, 20, or 30 layers deep will comprehend the demands of any city's transport. Whether the company will use a specially designed pod on rails or use autonomous vehicles like those that Tesla produces, we are for certain that their business model will be simple enough. Charges on customers who use the tunnels to escape traffic congestion or cargo companies who wish to send goods through these tunnels will be based on a pay-per-mile medium. Once the tunnels are provided, the cost of maintaining underground concrete cadres will be little, and the company might charge some 10 cents per mile when traveling 120 miles per hour. In the coming years, the Boring Company might remain the major provider of the teased robotaxi. Currently, its proposed project are designed for a loop intra-city transport system, and more tunnels are being built to support the eventual transition to Hyperloop-based transportation on much longer intercity routes. In recent times, we've come to know that Tesla is developing full self-driving softwares for its vehicles and selling them to willing buyers who will then trade their neutral net for FSD. This milestone achievement could make Tesla upload the software to any vehicle they produce and have it generate money as a robotaxi, rather than employing human drivers, who are subject to tiring. I put it to you that once the Tesla FSD challenge is solved, the Boring Company will have a fully self-driving vehicle too, and Elon Musk would have two companies simultaneously operating. If that feat's achieved, Tesla and the Boring Company could generate similarly massive quantities of revenue. Steve Jurvetson, a board member of Tesla and SpaceX, mentioned that the tunnels will be built specifically for electric vehicles and their size will be reduced and cost, therefore decreased. Readily, no one would have to battle air pollutants as these vehicles will come with everything to collapse the complexity of tunnel transportation. It is quite possible that the underground infrastructure technology for the Boring Company might as well be used to create the self-sustaining human colony on Mars, with Musk saying, and then, along the way, building underground habitats where you could get radiation shielding. You could build an entire city underground if you wanted to. Now, every Tesla vehicle will have the capability to identify billions of different, as well as similar situations and objects, from running deers to garbage cans and others. The robotaxi is a network of continuously adapting cars, and it will emerge with reduced object and path detection error. The reason for Elon Musk dividing both Tesla and the Boring Company will remain abstract to a lot of us. But while you are still here, it is safe to knit a few threads. One major difference between the Boring Company and Tesla is that the former actually drills tunnels, while the latter doesn't. It has been previously mentioned, however, that the Boring Company will be buying underground vehicle pods and batteries from Tesla. Furthermore, the autonomous vehicle strategy of the Boring Company will in no way come possible without Tesla. The Boring Company will use Tesla's stocks to their advantage, picking up customers from the surface and driving them through the underground tunnels, and it is of no doubt that these robotaxis will gain massive encouraging reception. The designs Tesla will provide in the coming years will see that all driven miles happen across a self-learning network of machine-driven carriages. As a matter of interest, where Tesla is going, insurance will no longer be needed. Recently, the Boring Company said it envisions about 3,000 vehicles per hour, moving through each main artery tunnel in the system. Approximately, it would amount to about 16,000 riders per hour when paired with a human driver for Model 3 and about 24,000 in a Model X. Usually, the conventional bus or rail transit system will house about 10 to 25,000 passengers. Inherently, Tesla has always been about creating a transportation system and not about just creating some fancy status symbol for wealthy customers. The Boring Company's tunnel is intended to be a high-speed public transportation system, as underground layers of highways instead of subway tunnels. At a speed of up to 155 miles per hour, the company seeks to transport passengers through these underground highways, and we all know of one company making waves with autonomous vehicles. In November, the Boring Company was approved by the Las Vegas Planning Commission to build a part of its intra-city transportation system service inside the city. The good news is that the company already completed 2 one-mile-long tunnels in the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it aims to expand the system throughout the state. The company will go on to set up about 50 stations at casinos and other attractive places, and the convention center system is scheduled to open in January 2021. With a $48 million contract from the Las Vegas Convention and the Visitors Authority, the company seeks to complete work soon. Rounding up, do not forget the Boring Company will help Tesla make millions of dollars, while its own market shares appreciate inexplicably. Having two companies that inherently do the same thing is something that a lot of people will find funny and expensive. But Elon Musk, who really had a great year, is prepared to tackle a lot of challenges battling the society. While the Boring Company continues digging tunnels for interconnected underground highways, Tesla on the other hand will be providing autonomous vehicles and possibly the robo-taxi. While Tesla keeps on generating revenue from making batteries, solar energy and electric vehicles, the Boring Company will go on to generate revenue from customers using their autonomous taxis to avoid traffic congestions. While many experts have downplayed the purpose of the underground tunnels as something that subways have solved a long time ago, the idea of a passageway to escape traffic jams feels ultimately cool to me, and more. Although the design of the robo-taxi stations shows a number of setbacks, including inaccessibility for disabled people as well as inefficient use of space, it is not right to forget that the full scope of the project has not been presented, and more depictions are likely to come up as the company reviews more cities for the project. Thanks for watching another one of our videos. While you're here, go ahead and click on one of these 2 videos on your screen. See you there!